Welcome to another stock market analysis video, and here are the stocks na pag-uusapan ko sa video na to. So before ko pag-usapan itong mga individual stocks na to, let's first go sa PSEI para sa overall market conditions. So for the PSEI, the last time that I did a stock market analysis video, January 9, last time ang na-anticipate ko na posibleng gawin ng PSEI ay tatlo. So, una, it can make a pullback towards the 6289 support area. So, that explains this first arrow. Or it can continue yung rally niya at bullishness niya para i-test yung 6550 towards the 6588 resistance, no? Kasi meron tayo ditong double top sa short term. Or it can stay inside this consolidation until magkaroon pa ng lakas in order to test this resistance again or make a breakout. So, it's already January 19 and ilang trading days pa lang naman yung nakakalipas, pero mukhang andito pa rin siya sa loob ng consolidation, no? So, mabuti naman na wala pang pullback agad na nangyari. So, currently, andun pa tayo sa levels from last time or just a little bit higher. Pero since kakasimula pa lang ng trading week, no, posible pa rin niyang gawin itong scenario na to na i-test agad within this trading week, no. So that's what I'm looking at sa short term na galaw ng PSEI. Pero syempre, ang pinaka gusto kong gawin niya is to make a breakout sa level na to and hindi na bumaba sa ilalim, no. So significant resistance kasi yung 6550 towards 66 na price level. But if we look sa bigger picture and I zoom out slightly, I can see the larger pattern that is being formed by the PSEI. So it's possible na nagke-create siya ng inverse head and shoulder. So I'll just remove yung mga nagawa kong drawings and remove also the moving averages, no, para mas clear. So ito yung left shoulder na ginagawa niya, and then ito yung possible na head or inverted head. So if I'm going to create the right shoulder, so kung ito man yung mangyari sa kanya, so ibig sabihin na to, no, yung short term na movement na gagawin ng PSEI, pwede ngang tumama siya dito. Tapos kung bearish yung maging sentiment or scenario by that time, then it might create a pullback, no, towards this area. So, halos ganun pa rin. Babalik pa rin siya dun sa around 6.3 na level. And then, pag lumakas, edi itetest niya ulit ito and dun na magkakasubukan kung kakayanin ba niyang mag-break out above this level or magko-consolidate lang siya or magiging bearish, no, tapos mabubutas niya yung right shoulder na kine-create niya. But kung pag-uusapan ko lang yung optimistic na scenario, so an inverse head and shoulder pattern kasi is a bullish pattern, and in order to estimate kung saan yung pwedeng puntahan ng price kung ifa-follow lang natin yung inverse head and shoulder, I'm just going to plot yung inverse head niya, no, towards the left shoulder or yung neckline, tapos kung saan magkaroon yung breakout, so halimbawa dito, so you can see that it corresponds to the resistance, no, of the PSEI sa 7.5, and matagal na kasing resistance yan. So meron tayong double top actually sa 7.576 na level, no. So it would be definitely interesting to see kung magbe-breakout yung PSEI sa level na to, because the logical target after that is itong 7.6, no. Pero kung makikita nyo yung galaw nitong PSEI when it's heading towards the 7.5 area, when it creates a low, and in order to reach that level, no, it takes around 270 days nung una niyang ginawa. And nung second time na ginawa niya, 110 days, okay? So, mas less time, no? And kung i-assume ko na dito siya magke-create ng low, tapos ilalagay ko lang sa 110 days, ibig sabihin, by second half ng year, abutin niya. Or, kung gagawin kong 270, kagaya ng ginawa niya nung first time, approximately November, no? So, ibig sabihin pala nun, kung susundin niya itong inverse head and shoulder na pattern, and magbe-breakout nga siya sa levels na to, then second half of 2026 would be really bullish, no? So, very important talaga pala na ma-breakout niya nga yung 6.6. So, kailangan ba na i-revisit niya yung level na to in order to create the pattern, or ngayon pa lang na first quarter, mag-breakout na siya kaagad para matest niya ng mas maaga yung 7.5 to 7.6 na level, no? So, yun yung dapat natin abangan and only time can tell. But, ayan yung possible estimates natin sa bullish scenario, no? So, pagdating naman sa bearish scenario, syempre, kapag nabutas niya yung right shoulder or hindi niya i-create yung inverse head and shoulder na pattern, then below 6.3 level, I can see that 6.1 could be a support up to the 6K level or balik ulit dito sa 5.5, no? So, ayan lang naman yung nakikita kong major support for the PSEI. So, that means itong 6.2 to 6.3 na level could be the S1 and also completes the pattern, no? Pag nagkaroon siya ng pullback dito tapos nakabawi. But if it doesn't hold sa 6.2, 6.3, then balik tayo sa S2 support na 6.1 tapos itong 5.5 na level, no? Yung S3 na support. So, let's see in the coming days or weeks. So, I think the pattern could form by mid-March to April. So, definitely maganda abangan yan kung i-complete ba niya yung bullish na sentiment. So, for the first individual stock na pag-uusapan ko, that's FGen. So, for FGen, significant yung ginalaw niya today at unang trading day pa lang, no, ng trading week. So, as you can see, this is one of the largest volume na candle na ginawa niya since last year pa ng October, no? So, the last time that I talked about this stock, last week ng November, and if I'm not mistaken, yung sentiment or yung hype nito kaya tumaas siya during this period was because of the possible delisting, no, na gagawin daw ng FGen. So, may nabenta kasi silang part ng business nila sa company ni EKR, no, ni Mr. Razon. Usap-usapan na i-delist yung FGen because they're going private, no. Tapos tumaas na naman siya ngayong araw because of the recent news na kung saan may na-discover nga daw ulit, 'di ba, na gas reserves sa Malampaya. And if we do a quick search sa website ng FGen, you'll see that they actually have business na related pagdating dito sa natural gas, no? So, meron silang mga power plants. So, I guess that's one of the reason kung bakit tumaas yung FGen by nearly 10% today. So, meron ako mga na-plot na levels dito and of course, I need to readjust it sa ngayon kasi nalagpasan niya na at naging support naman yung mga key levels, no? So, I'm going to remove all of the drawings here kasi significant na yung tinaas niya at I think nagiging irrelevant na yung ibang areas dito. So, for FGen, it was actually creating this large consolidation and I think the reason why nahihirapan siyang tumaas dito is because of these levels, no? Meron kasi tayong resistance near 19.18 tapos dito sa 18.85. So, nakita natin yan in the short term, nagke-create siya ng double top, no? Fortunately, nagkaroon nitong news kaya nag-breakout siya tapos na-confirm yung breakout. So, in this case, itong 18.85 magiging na tong support, no? Along with 19.18 which is of course the top of the range. So, this is going to be your S1 support for me. And itong bottom part ng range yung S2. So, for the resistance, it's very obvious naman. Ito yung kanyang 52-week high sa 22 na price area which will of course become the R1. And towards the left, tingnan pa natin kung meron pa. So, actually pala, double top pala to, no? Double top sa long term. So, it's a very significant area for FGen. So, itong consolidation pala na nangyayari is part of a much larger na consolidation, no? So, ito siya. So, ano ba yung possible na resistance after ng R1? So, meron naman tayo ditong double bottom na support. So, nasa 23 na level. So, ito na yung R2. So, this would definitely be something to watch, no? Yung R1 to R2 na levels for FGen. So, if I'm going to plot yung potential price target niya after this, kung susundin ko lang yung chart pattern, then 29 price area could be a potential price target, no, for FGen. But, of course, that doesn't mean na dire-diretso lang yung pagtaas niya after niyang malagpasan itong levels na to. So, syempre magkakaroon tayo ng mga profit taking dyan because traders or investors who were able to buy sa levels na to, no, would be up already by 40 to 50% at these price levels. So, imposible naman hindi magkaroon ng selling pressure dito, no, unless sobrang lakas ng maging catalyst ng FGen. So, definitely interesting kung anong mangyayari dito sa stock na to in the coming weeks, no, lalo na at meron siyang catalyst. So, next stock, that's PXP. So, for PXP, the last time na napag-usapan ko siya, November 28. So, a few months back lang. And yung expected ko nga na gawin niya is magstay siya dito sa loob ng consolidation. So, ginawa naman niya, no? Up until today. So, nag-breakout siya dito sa R1 resistance niya only for it to experience selling dito sa R2 levels niya sa 2.95 to 3.07. So, na-anticipate ko kasi na resistance to dahil if I remember correctly, previous support area, nung nagkaroon siya ng sobrang taas na price rally sa 2 days niya nagalaw. So, because of hype ulit, no, I think nabigyan kasi itong PXP ng service contract or nagkaroon ng pirmahan, no. And eto nga, since usapang gas ulit, usapang energy play, I think maraming mga na-hype, no, dito sa PXP thinking na magbe-benefit yung PXP pagdating dito sa gas discovery sa Malampaya. Kaso, I think this is the market already telling us na baka walang benefit na mapupunta dito sa PXP kasi we clearly see an example sa FGen na kung saan alam natin na meron silang gas power plants, no, gas-powered plants, tapos na-sustain niya yung move. Yung PXP nag-open, gap up, tapos malakas yung galaw niya ng morning session pero nabentahan, no? So, it means it's the market voting, telling everyone na wala pa masyadong naniniwala sa sentiment pagdating sa PXP. So, ang ginawa niya, umabot siya dito sa around 3 price area tapos nabentahan lang din ulit. Siguro yung slightly positive lang dito sa PXP, nag-hold yung R1 at hindi naman siya bumalik dito sa loob ng consolidation. But regardless, no, it's a very bearish thing to happen na nakapag-breakout na sa R1 tapos maganda yung consolidation tapos ito pa yung ginawa niyang move, no? So, ang laki ng volume tapos selling volume pa. So, this means itong R2 na levels na to, gagawin ko ng R1 and itong consolidation na ginagawa niya, so gagawin ko na tong support, no? So this level here, yung around 2.66, gagawin kong S1. So that means yung bottom part ng range niya, no, is gagawin ko ng S2. So S3 na itong pinakailalim niya. And I'm going to adjust yung resistance levels as well. So R2 na to and this is R3. So I think what's happening sa PXP, no, purely speculation play. So, right now, sinasabi sa atin na bearish yung sentiment pagdating sa PXP. So, I think kailangan pa ng further news, no? Further clarifications kung magiging beneficiary ba yung PXP pagdating dito sa gas reserve na to. But I think sa galaw niya ngayon, hindi yun yung pinapakita sa atin. So, mas leaning on more ako na either babalik siya dito sa consolidation na to or posibleng mag-create siya ng bagong consolidation sa levels na to, no? Up until makapaglabas pa ng ibang disclosure or news kung affected ba sila. Either manggagaling sa company or indirectly sa news na nami-mention talaga yung PXP, no? Pero sa ngayon, clearly, FGen is the direct winner pagdating dito sa nangyaring news na to. So, next stock, RFM. So, for RFM, last time that I talked about this stock, December 12, so last month, no? At during this period nga, I was able to plot certain areas. So, yung R1 and R2, tapos itong malapit sa level niya, no, na S1. So, fortunately, nalagpasan niya yung R1. So, ilang beses nagre-resist tong level na to kasi meron tayong significant na resistance, no, na around 2021 pa niya na resistance. So, it was able to make a breakout from this level and yung R2 resistance niya, nalagpasan niya lang ng sobrang lakas, no? And the reason for that is because nakapag-announce yung RFM na magbibigay nga daw sila ng dividends, I think 5 times ba for 2026. So, clearly, it shows investor confidence yung paggalaw ng RFM ng ganito, no? So, dahil gumanda yung performance ng stock, no, fundamentally, tumaas yung income nila, nakapagbigay pa sila ng higher divs. So, maraming investors, no, maraming traders na pumasok sa stock na to and decided to actually, of course, buy the stocks. And syempre, ang ganda nga nung galaw niya eh. So, ngayon, I'm going to adjust itong level sa RFM. Since it already breached yung R2 na level dito sa 5 na price area, syempre, i-consider ko na to as a support. So, para sa akin, S1 na to, no? And yung previous resistance niya dito sa around 4.69 na level, syempre, ito na yung S2. And yung previous S1 na price area, syempre, S3 na yan. So, para sa akin, tatanggalin ko na tong pinakailalim niya na support, no? So ngayon nagkaroon ng bentahan sa stock around 5.37. So I'm just going to plot a line. Tapos tingnan natin towards the left kung may possible resistance ba. So meron previous instance na kung saan nagkaroon siya ng resistance dito sa level na to. Pero if we're going to be strict about it, ito pa talaga yung resistance ng RFM, no? Around 5.51. So I guess we can say na from 5.37 to 5.51, ito na yung magiging next na resistance ng RFM, no? So you could either look at it as a range or you can split the levels into two. So itong 5.37 pwedeng maging R1, tapos itong 5.51 magiging R2, no? So yung dividends niya, yung ex-date, ito sa January 28 pa naman. So next week pa. So ibig sabihin, since meron tayong around 1.82%, kung maglalaro lang yung stock sa levels na to, so assuming lang na 5.32 by ex-date, no? So pag nag-drop siya ng around 2%, so ibig sabihin, pwedeng mag-drop yung price up to 5.21. So I think it's very important na malagpasan na ng RFM yung R1 and R2 levels before pa magkaroon ng ex-date, no? Para at least, pag andito na siya sa price na to, tapos nagkaroon na ng ex-date, pag nag-drop ng 2%, mag-hold yung price na R1. Kasi kung from here, no, yung prices bababa pa, tapos magda-drop ng 2% sa ex-date, pwede niyang i-revisit yung S1, no? So, ang pwedeng mangyari dyan, matagalan yung galaw ng price. Kasi pwede siyang mag-consolidate lang, no? So, pag tinignan kasi natin yung galaw ng RFM, we can see na every time na nagbe-breakout siya, nagkakaroon lang din siya ng matagal na consolidation. So, nag-breakout siya ng November 17, pero since maganda nga yung performance ng stock, naiwasan niya yung consolidation, no? Pag hindi niya nalagpasan yung R1 and R2, tapos wala pang ibang catalyst na mapapakita, then I can see na pwede lang siya mag-consolidate ulit, no? Up until a better catalyst comes along. Since frequent yung bigay ng RFM ng dividends, matatagalan talaga siyang tumaas ng tumaas, no? Since magkakaroon ng bentahan yan dahil may mga traders or investors na up lang for the dividend play. So, ang magandang gawin ng RFM is mag-close above 5.51 before the X date. So, next stock, Bloom. So, for Bloom, last time that I talked about the stock, December 5, and medyo magulo. Medyo marami akong nalagay na drawings dito, no? Pero babalikan ko lang based dito sa mga nagawa akong drawings. So, on a bigger picture, yung ginagawa ng Bloom is gumagalaw siya sa isang downward channel, no? So, that explains the two trend lines here. So, itong first trend line, tapos yung bottom trend line, no? And during the time that I was reviewing the stock, it was consolidating dito sa box na to. And nagkakaroon ng support dahil andito yung previous support niya, no? Ito yung 52-week low niya, I think, during this period. So, nasa 2.60 yan. And that explains itong mga arrows na ginawa ko because I was expecting certain scenarios to happen. So, pag nabutas yung box na to, pwedeng bumaba yung stock further kasi yung next na support niya na is yung trend line. So, hindi siya nangyari at wala siyang ibang ginawa, no, kundi magstay pa rin dito sa box. Although, lumaki yung box ng onte. So, I just expand it a little bit and you'll see na ito nga yung ginagawa niya. So, ang maganda kasi sanang gawin ng Bloom dito is mag-breakout siya dito sa consolidation tapos makalabas na siya eventually dito sa downward channel niya, no? Kasi kung walang sobrang gandang catalyst, ang pwedeng gawin niya lang na move is sundan itong downward channel move. So, hindi naman niya yung nagawa. And ang isa pang nakikita kong posibleng gawin niya is kung maka-breakout man siya dito sa consolidation, kung hindi enough yung catalyst or hindi gumanda yung fundamentals ng company, pwedeng mauntog lang siya dito sa R1, no? Tapos babalik ulit siya sa ilalim. So, hindi naman niya ginawa dito. So, tatanggalin ko na rin yung mga drawings na yan, which leaves us with two patterns left. Itong downward channel tapos itong consolidation niya, no? So, tatanggalin ko na tong mga support levels niya since medyo malayo na yan. So, in this case, it's clear na yung R1 na ng stock na to is yung 2.94. So, meron siyang double top, no, sa short term. Ito siya. Tapos, itong level na to sa 3.42, ito na yung R2. And, syempre, R3 na to. For the support naman, dito tayo sa 250 na S1. And the next support could possibly be yung downward channel niya na. So, what's the reason kung bakit nagkaroon ng large volume dito sa Bloom ng January 16? So, recently kasi nagkaroon ng news, di ba, na yung Philippines is magiging open ulit for Chinese tourists na I think 14 days, no? So, probably some traders or investors are looking at that as a positive catalyst for Bloom because iniisip siguro nila na Chinese tourists will go to certain casinos or gamble, no? Tapos alam naman natin na Bloomberry kasi yung nag-operate ng Soler. So, I think that's the catalyst dito sa Bloom. But the following trading day, so ito, nung January 19, nakita natin na nagkaroon lang din ng bentahan after. So, I guess the catalyst is not enough, no? Para matulak pataas. Lagpas dito sa resistance ng 2.94. So, I think inaantay siguro ng investors or traders na mag-materialize ito sa much better na fundamentals. So, if they can see na talagang positive yung effect at gumaganda yung fundamentals ng Bloom, baka ayun pa lang yung time, no, na malagpasan niya itong 2.94 resistance. And even better, syempre itong R2, tapos yung resistance line itong downward channel. So, pwede rin kahit hindi pa lumalabas yung fundamentals, no, kung merong mga matatapang na traders or investors dyan na literal na susugal sa Bloom, na gaganda yung sugal business nila para mapabreakout ng stock. But until then, the bias for me is magko-consolidate lang siya. Probably around this level or even a larger box dito sa R2. So, ang inaasahan ko lang talaga dito is dapat malagpasan niya na yung resistance na trend line. So, next stock, that's Plus. So, sa Plus, the last time that I talked about this stock, January 5, and although gambling stock siya, hindi niya nakuha yung parehas na catalyst ng Bloom. Kasi yung DigiPlus, 'di ba, alam naman natin na the bulk of their business is online, no, pagdating dito sa Pilipinas. So I guess that's the reason why hindi siya tumaas at sinusunod niya lang itong bias na na-anticipate ko, no, since the start of the year. So andito pa rin siya sa loob ng consolidation na to, although mas lumaki siya. But andun pa rin yung bias na pwede pa nga siyang bumaba dito, no. So actually nag-breakdown siya kanina nitong January 19, pero nag-close pa rin naman above. So I still believe na good support pa rin itong bottom part ng range na to. Tapos may S1 support pa rin naman. And ang gagawin ko lang dito, lalakihan ko lang yung range. But essentially wala pa rin pinagbago yung stock, no. So ang gusto kong makita dito, malagpasan niya itong R1, which is yung 18.24 na price level, para at least nagta-transition na siya towards a short-term uptrend, no. Pero gaya ng lagi kong sinasabi, mahihirapan na tong stock na to na abutin yung mga upper resistance levels niya unless may sobrang ganda na catalyst. So, always remember, maraming ipit sa stock na to. So, aside sa mga profit taking na pwedeng mangyari, marami pang lalabas at certain levels, no. That's why when you see the stock increasing, bumababa lang din ulit kasi syempre napaprofit take tapos may mga umi-exit. Like these levels, no, tumaas siya ng around 39%, 40%, tapos bababa lang din, and then tumaas ulit at these levels, no, ganun ulit, near 40%, tapos bumaba na naman. So, unless may sobrang gandang catalyst, no, kung tumaas man yung stock na to, baka dito pa lang sa around 22, maka-experience siguro siya ng resistance because sumusunod na dito yung MA50 tapos MA100 tapos baba na naman ulit, no. So I think it will need a really good catalyst para umabot siya ulit pabalik dito sa 28 price level. So kung wala yon, I think magiging sell on rally lang ulit yung galaw nito ng Plus. So the next stock, that's Keeper. So for Keeper Holdings, last time that I talked about this stock, last week of October pa. So, magti 3 months na, no? And yung anticipate ko nga na move dito is mag-drop siya further kung mabubutas niya yung downward channel. So, ito kasi yung ginagawa ng Keeper, no? Yung downward channel na to. And nabutas niya nga. So, mabuti naman at hindi siya umabot ng 2.08 tapos ano lang, 2.15 lang, no? Yung medyo magandang scenario sana na gawin niya is maka-breakout siya dito sa falling wedge na ginagawa niya tapos mag-close siya above 2.51. So, nagkaroon siya ng bentahan around this level, no? Pero good thing at nagsusupport yung S2 at S3. So overshoots lang yung nangyari sa level na to. So somehow good na naging strong support yung S2 and S3 level. Pero as you can see, nakalabas nga siya ulit dito sa price level na to only for it to suffer from selling pressure nung tinamaan niya yung resistance dito sa R1, no? So I think I need to remove some of these levels na and tatanggalin ko na yung downward channel kasi hindi na yan yung pattern na ginagawa niya, no? Pero I'm still going to stick sa level na to as the R1 since ayan yung main resistance niya ngayon. And the pattern that I'm seeing na ginagawa na ng keeper is this level, no? So nagke-create na siya ng consolidation around this level. So this means if we're going to plot yung potential chart pattern target, kung mag-breakout man siya sa level na to at masustain niya. So, sumasakto dito sa 52-week high niya, no? Sa 2.84 to 2.92. So, I'm not saying na pag nag-breakout siya dito, automatic pupuntahan niya yung level na yan, no? Siyempre, makaka-encounter ng profit taking yan dyan. Lalo na kung hindi maganda yung takbo ng market. It's just that it's somehow good na nagkikreate siya ng consolidation dito. I guess, bumubelo na lang to. And only time can tell kung kakayanin ba niyang mag-breakout or will it do a consolidation further or revisit again, no, yung bottom part ng range niya, yung below 230 price area. Pero sa ngayon, ang nakikita kong possible support niya itong 2.28 na level. So, yan yung posibleng S1. So, nakita din natin yan na wala siyang significant na candles na below sa price area na to, puro overshoot lang. But yung S2 na support is yung bottom part ng range around dito sa 2.16, no? So, ayan yung mga key levels na kailangan abangan for keeper. If you haven't watched yung mga goodbye or goodbye videos ko, where I go on a deep dive to talk about certain stocks na mas comprehensive, click towards the upper right. And if you want to watch my videos talking about stock market lessons, you can click towards the lower right. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe sa channel na to so you'll be updated sa mga future videos na i-upload ko pa.